This video is a little different from my usual wood turning projects. Today the main shaping is not done on the lathe but on the bandsaw. The lathe will come later, but most of the final form of this vase starts right here, with careful cutting and planning. I begin with a piece of spalted beech wood. Before making the first cut, I take a moment to inspect the blank. With spalted wood, this is very important. The grain and dark lines can be beautiful, but the wood can also have cracks or softer areas inside. So I look for the strongest and most interesting part of the wood, the section with the best figure, the nicest natural pattern and the fewest cracks. Once I decide which part I want to use, I cut the blank in half and prepare it to about 10 centimeters thick. This gives me enough material to create the shape of the vase, while still keeping the piece manageable on the bandsaw. A handmade piece like this starts long before the final finish. It starts with choosing the right part of the wood and making every cut with a clear purpose. The better the preparation, the better the final vase. To transfer the shape onto the wood, I first apply masking tape to the surface. This makes the pencil line easier to see, and it also gives me a clean guide before cutting on the bandsaw. Then I draw the basic outline of the vase by hand. At this point I am not trying to make the final line perfect immediately. I first want to find the right flow, a shape that feels elegant, balanced and natural. Once I am happy with the design, I go over the final line with a permanent marker. This makes the cutting line much clearer, especially later when I am working on the bandsaw. To make the other side of the vase almost identical, I use a simple trick. I peel off the back section of the masking tape with the line on it, turn it over, and transfer the same shape to the opposite end of the wood. This way, both sides of the vase follow nearly the same curve. It is a small step, but it makes a big difference. The final vase will look much more balanced, and the shape will feel intentional instead of random. Now I cut along the first marked lines on the bandsaw. After these cuts, it is important not to throw away the pieces I remove. I will use these offcuts as support pieces so the blank can stay at the correct angle while I continue cutting the other sides. Then I peel off the masking tape with the marked line and transfer it onto the next side of the wood. This allows me to repeat the same shape on all four sides of the vase. You can also see a small foot-like section at the bottom of the piece. But this is not the final foot of the vase. I leave this part intentionally because it will be used as a tenon later when I mount the piece in the chuck on the lathe. So even while most of the shaping is happening on the bandsaw, I still have to think ahead to the turning process. This simple preparation helps keep the form balanced, the cuts more controlled, and the next step on the lathe much safer. While I continue cutting the second side, I would love to ask you something. Do you prefer projects that are made mostly on the lathe? Or do you enjoy seeing different techniques like this, where the bandsaw becomes the main shaping tool? For me, this is the interesting part of handmade work. There is no single way to create a piece. Sometimes the lathe is the star, and sometimes another tool gives the object its character. This vase will not be a standard round vase. It will have a more sculptural shape with four flowing sides and a handmade feel. And that is exactly the kind of piece we love to create at Pipejawood. Not factory made, not mass produced. Each piece is shaped by hand, one decision at a time. If you enjoy this kind of work, you can also visit our website pipejawood.com, where we offer finished handmade wooden pieces from our workshop. But for now, let's continue shaping this vase and see how the form comes together. Now I start drilling the opening for the vase. I first use a 20 mm Forstner bit to create the hole. This gives me a clean and controlled start. But the problem is that this drill bit is too short to reach deep enough into the vase. So I add an extension to the drill bit, and here I made a small mistake. I did not tighten the screws on the extension enough, and the Forstner bit stayed stuck inside the wood. This cost me some time, because I had to carefully work it out without damaging the vase or breaking the opening. Luckily, I managed to remove it. After that, I tightened the screws much stronger and continued drilling more slowly. With deep drilling like this, it is important not to force the tool. I drill step by step and clean the bit often, so the wood chips do not build up behind it. This makes the process safer, cleaner, and gives me much better control over the hole inside the vase. Now that the opening is drilled, I need to clean and refine the outside faces of the vase. For this step, I use an oscillating spindle sander. This is one of those moments where accuracy really matters. The shape already looks close to the final design, but if I sand at the wrong angle, I can easily destroy the clean lines that I created on the bandsaw. That is why I use the original offcut as support. The vase sits back into the piece that was cut away earlier, and this helps keep the angle correct while sanding. I also need to keep the sides at 90 degrees to the sanding table. If the vase tilts too much, the whole shape can become uneven, so I take my time here. The goal is not to remove a lot of material. The goal is to smooth the bandsaw marks, keep the form balanced, and prepare the surface for the final details. This step makes the vase look cleaner, more intentional, and closer to a finished handmade piece. Now I no longer need this temporary tenant. It has already done its job during the earlier steps, so I cut it away and start cleaning the lower area of the vase. After removing the extra material, I go over the outside with an orbital sander to remove the last visible sanding lines from the previous steps. But the piece is not finished yet. After sanding the outside, I move to the bottom of the vase. This part still needs attention because the base decides how the whole piece will stand and how finished it will look. Even though the main shape was made on the bandsaw, the bottom has to be refined more carefully on the lathe. I want the vase to sit stable, but I also want the lower part to match the rest of the design. On the lathe, I also drill a small recess in the bottom of the vase. This is where I will later attach our Pipejawood logo, so even the underside of the piece has a clean and finished detail. At this point, the main shape is already formed, but the final balance still depends on the details. The lower part of the vase has to look intentional, not like something simply cut away, but like a finished part of the design. A handmade vase should not only look beautiful from the side, it should also feel complete when you pick it up, turn it around, and look at every detail. After refining the bottom on the lathe, I give this area one final sanding. The base is a small detail, but it is one of those details that separates a quick project from a finished handmade piece. After the sanding is complete, I attach our Pipejawood logo into the small recess I made earlier. For me, this is the final signature of the piece. It is a small detail, but it represents the work, the time, and the handmade process behind the vase. Every piece we make in our workshop is shaped individually, and this logo marks it as part of our Pipejawood collection. Now comes one of my favorite parts of the whole project, applying the finish. For this vase, I used Danish oil. As soon as the oil touches the wood, the spalted beach starts to change completely. The pale surface becomes warmer, the dark spalting lines become deeper, and the natural grain starts to stand out. This is the moment when you can really see why I chose this piece of wood at the beginning. Spalted beech has a very special character. It is not perfectly uniform, and that is exactly what makes it beautiful. The natural lines, the color changes, and the small imperfections all become part of the final design. And because the shape of this vase was made mostly on the bandsaw, the result is different from a traditional round-turned vase. It has 4 flowing sides, a sculptural form, and a more modern handmade look. This piece can be used in 2 different ways. If you want to use it for fresh flowers, the vase comes with a glass insert. This allows you to add water safely without the water touching the wood directly. And if you prefer dry flowers, decorative branches, or a natural interior display, you can use the wooden vase without the glass insert. This vase is already available on our website, Pipejawood.com, and the glass insert is included with it. So, if you would like to own this exact handmade spalted beech vase, you can find it there. And while you are on our website, you can also take a look at our other handmade wooden pieces, bowls, vases, pens, serving boards, and other unique items made in our small workshop. Every piece is different. Every piece is made by hand. And every piece carries its own natural story. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you enjoyed this project, please like the video, share it with someone who loves handmade work, and subscribe to the channel. It really helps us a lot and allows us to continue making videos like this. Thank you for your support, and I will see you in the next Pipejawood project.